Hey guys, welcome back to the 4-1 Week. Today we're going to talk about what's new and what's different in Windows 8. Let's go into Windows for a second, into the desktop feature. One thing that's really cool they did within Windows Explorer, now if you're in My Computer or My Documents and you get this little window, this is known as Windows Explorer. Within here we have what's known as a ribbon. Similar to the Microsoft Word or the PowerPoint, this little ribbon at the top. We're familiar with this through these. We can always hit this arrow and hide that ribbon if you never liked it, or it was just kind of in the way when you're trying to type and didn't really want to have formatting options. Same concept in our ribbon. We now have, in our Internet Windows Explorer, we now have a ribbon option. So if we select that ribbon, if we were on a certain file, we would have options to delete, copy, just some more administrative tools. And as we open up, we may get more options that couldn't have normally fit beforehand. So these are all managed. We could go to manage, we could go to share, view, and we get different options just like we did within Word. We have all these different options within our ribbon bar. We have different options within our Windows Explorer bar without having to click on File and search for everything. So it's just a little bit handy of a tool to have. And again, if you don't like it, you can always hide it and you don't have to even worry about it. One last thing I want to talk about within the desktop version of Windows 8 is Task Manager. Now, in general, if you notice, Windows 8 has a very flat look to it. The goal Microsoft was going for was to basically make everything boot faster, load faster, and be a lot smoother while doing that with the same hardware. So Windows 7, Windows 8 is always going to be a lot faster with the same hardware just because its goal was to do that, and that's what it's out to do. So they got rid of Arrow, for instance. You can't see through this ribbon at the top of my Explorer. You could still see through the taskbar, but Arrow was taking up a lot of resources when we moved files looking through the Explorer menu, or even when we had Word open. We used to be able to see through the top within Windows 7. Now that's gone away and we can't see through it. They took Arrow away for the glass effect. And again, that's just to make it flatter, crisp, and overall faster and smoother. Now the next thing I want to talk about is Task Manager or administrative tools. So if we right click where the start button would be, when we mouse over here and we get the start menu, if you simply right click, you get a list of administrative tools. And these are all common tools used in Windows 8. Used in Windows 7. So it's Device Manager is still here, Disk Management, Event Viewer, Programs if we wanted to remove something, Command Prompt. But I want to focus on Task Manager for a second. So when you open up Task Manager, you just get whatever is open. So right now I have the calendar open. Well, I wanted to close the calendar, so I could simply just hit End Task and it's done. But this is just open programs or apps. If I click more details, I get a lot more options as far as what's going on my computer and what's currently running. This is all the processes, just like we've had in the old version of Windows 7, that process tab. So this is all the processes I have running. I can sort them by what the CPU is using most, what the memory or the RAM is using the most of. See, Dropbox is using a lot of my RAM because it's trying to update files. What my hard disk is using a lot of. I could go to performance and get graphical options on all of those. But one thing I want to point out is startup. So if you're familiar with MS Config in Windows 7, this is very similar. We can say, for instance, if I turned my computer on, I might not want Adobe Reader to automatically load. So I could just right click and disable that from being able to load within Windows or when Windows starts. So that would give me, again, faster boot times, smoother operating system overall. So I'll close that for a second. Alright, let's go back to this administrative tool, and notice we still have a lot of the same options, but let's say you wanted to install a printer. Normally in Windows 7 you would just hit the start button and you would type in printer, or you could click printers and faxes, for instance, but we can actually do the same thing. We can search our start menu. So when we hit the start button, or if we clicked on start, we could simply just type. So if I wanted to install a printer, I could type in printer. Now nothing comes up because I'm searching my applications. If I come over here and I click on settings, now I get add a printer. So I could just click add a printer, and this is a new version of printer sharing or printer installation as opposed to Windows 7. Now if you notice, this brought me to the same screen I was at a minute ago. So I'll close that and just use a different example. So I could click on start and I could type, oops, excuse me, I already had start open. I could type Photoshop. So when I type Photoshop, it pops up. I could also search my files or settings. So anything that has photo in it, it will search my entire computer, and I could also select it to search the store. So if there was something that had photo in the name of the store app, I could search photo, and now it searches the store for photo. So now I can see there's a bunch of programs in here. If I wanted to look for Wordament, for instance, I could just type Word and search the store. Alright, so that's a little bit about Windows 8. Just what's new, what's different, how to make the best of it. I'm going to post some other videos on what to do to make Windows 8 a little bit more like Windows 7 if you're missing some things or might not know how to get around with certain applications or programs. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day.